Hello and welcome, this is the Nuclear Rabbit and today I am going to be playing a faux paladin, which is a Fist of Heaven paladin, and also use Holy Ball, but we start off in normal. Because Fist of Heaven is a level 30 skill and, well, we're not level 30 yet, so we easily make it through Act 1 and Act 3. Almost coming through with the rings. Go ahead and punch Diablo a few times. Be careful of the lightning. But as long as you dodge and just make sure that, well, your HP doesn't turn to 0, you should be fine. And there goes Diablo, so this is just a showcase of how the Ancients went down. I punched Maddock a few times, I did the same for the other two. And they died. Being a Fire Paladin in normal is so unbelievably overpowered, so I make an Ancient's Pledge and then I head towards Bale, who also dies pretty easily. And at this point you're like, okay, you're beaten normal. Are you going to respec yet? No, there's one more thing that I need to do. And that is farming a Paladin Shield and a Sword that gets 4 sockets after the socket quest. And the one little trick that you can do here is find the Sword and the Shield and then wait with the sockets until you get the other one. Oh, I almost died by the way. And if you have the other one, you can socket the one you don't have yet. So if you find a 4 socket shield, socket the sword. If you have a 4 socket sword, socket the shield, etc. I also find a 4 socket side. That means I get to make an insight when I find a soul rune. I end up using a damaged starch, which is just sad, but I found no other shields. And after that, it's time for the respec. So here we go, Conviction Aura. Because Fist of Heaven also deals lightning damage. And my HP is quite low at this point. And I'm just wondering, like, why? What's going on? You know what helps when you respec? To actually use your stat points. It helps a lot. So I end up using my stat points. And one little thing that I noticed on console is that if you target something, it will always go towards your mercenary. No matter what, it will target your mercenary. And I end up finding my soul rune in the maggot lair, which means I get to make an insight for the meditation aura. So I get mana and then we go towards Duriel. And this is what I mean with just targeting the mercenary. I'm just always in a straight line behind the mercenary to make sure that it targets him, because it will just go for anything else no matter what I wanted to do. The mercenary is just the most important thing on the field. Also, I found perfect chances off of Duriel. This is a theme for this run. This paladin is good at finding items. You'll be amazed at the end of what the list will look like. And this is another time where it's like, I'm targeting Mephisto. Please, goddammit, target Mephisto for fuck's sake. And he goes down, 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 down. We head towards the Hellforge for a Lum rune. Nothing too special, but it's nice to have. You can always make a smoke with the Lum rune. And then it's time for the Diablo fight. And on Nightmare, this fight always looks a lot easier than it does on normal because, well, it is. And the one thing this character has a lot of trouble with is things that aren't undead or demons, because Fist of Heaven only targets undead or demons, and Holy Bolt also doesn't deal damage to beasts, so you can't really damage them. And the Fist of Heaven paladin for that reason is just a very area concentrated character. On the one hand you have the Chaos Sanctuary, where this character absolutely fucking demolishes. And you have the Cow level, where this character can deal no damage. So be very careful of that. It's a very fun build, but be careful of that. And the reason I'm even doing damage here is because I'm using the lightning damage in combination with the conviction. And that way I'm dealing a bit of damage. But this is just kind of sad, actually. Yeah, very bad Ancients character. However, excellent boss killer. So there goes Bale. And after that, it's time to farm some Mephisto, so I end up getting myself a good Mephisto map. If you're ever wanting to farm Mephisto, just get a map like this one. It'll do you well. And then it's time for the farm, so let's see what he gives us. We start off with a ring. It's a perfect Nagel ring. I don't care about attack rating on this character at all. Let's see what else the Pinata has in store for us today. Oh my god, it's the actual best item in the game for this character. It's a Herald of Zakarum. I don't have the strength for it, but who cares? I will wear this thing. I don't care. I will wear it. This is insane. It's such a good item. 50 resist all, 20 strength, 20 vitality. This is the nuts. The actual nuts. Then we go on and farm Mephisto some more. And here we farm an entire Javelin Amazon equipment. So we have Titans. 4 armors. And then we have a Skin of the Viper Magi, 26%. And this character is basically like going through the game with a shopping list and being like, I want everything. What do you mean everything? I want everything. So there's a Lem rune as well. I don't even bother putting it on the items found list. That should say a lot about this run. And then we head towards more Mephisto, who gives us an Aldur's helm. And the unique Yari, which is an excellent mercenary weapon. So basically what you want to do here is give the Honsundan to the mercenary when you're dealing with bosses. And use the spirit the rest of the time. Then it's time for an amulet and a Tal's mask. And it's a cat's eye. And at this point you're thinking like, dude, don't you have like half of an UBERS setup? And yeah, I do. I really do. I also end up finding a Warcry skiller in the pits, because after the nightmare farming I went to the pits, because it's a good area to farm with this character. I find a 15% enhanced damage superior cryptic axe. And I really love this find, the 15% ED ethereal wormhide, like 811 defense. Casual troll belt here. So I have cannot be frozen if I want to do UBERS. The Trangul's belt. Great farming item for a barbarian. And I just thought this looked really pretty. And this is how you get through the Maggot Lair with this character. Just a lot of lightning damage and a lot of spamming. But it looks so pretty. And then we have the first really dangerous area of the game. I head into the Claw Viper Temple level 2. Where things are just fanaticism and danger, and I'm like, nah, I'm a faux paladin, the rules of the game don't apply to me, so I'm actually dumb enough to go back in. And yeah, I shouldn't, I should not have gone in there, so I end up exiting the game. And going back in again for a second time. Please, when you see that screen of fanaticism and everything's at the door, don't go back in, it's dumb, don't do it. Don't be like me, make smart decisions. A very teasing lacquered plate over there as well. As we go ahead and mow down the rest of the salamanders, and after that we enter Tal Rasha's chamber for Duriel. And for those who haven't noticed yet, I really wanted to have some fun with the editing on this one, so there's like camera angles and stuff. Which is neat, I think. I hope people like it. And then for Act 3, this is the kind of grindy act where you're like, okay, after this one it's all good, but this one's kind of rough because these are beasts and I can't really deal damage to them. So my way of dealing with them is using my mercenary and spamming Holy Bolt on him to heal him, and then letting him poke through the entire act. Oh, casual Omrune over there. And this is the same problem. These are beasts, so I can't damage them, and my mercenary is having trouble and he dies, so this happens. And I run away a lot. And what I'm doing here is I'm luring them away from the entrance to like some dead end. So I can just teleport back in from the waypoint and walk around them towards the council. And they are demons, so I will murder them. But basically this character is as good as a Hammerdin when things are demons or beasts. I had not played one of these before, but I had like 7 or 8 people ask for the run. I was like, why are people so hyped about this? And I know why now, because this is really good. Highly recommend this build. As I slaughter the council. I mean, look at that. That's Hell Council, like 20-30 seconds? It's insane. And it's time for the Mephisto fight. As usual on console, just stand in a straight line behind your mercenary. This also makes your mercenary not die. So if you ever want to do a run where you don't want the mercenary to die, someone asked me that, this is that run. I don't know if I made it through exactly, but if I were ever to do that run, this would be the character to do it with. And then it's time for Hephasto the Armorer, who also, look, it's a demon, it'll die. As long as it's demons or undead, this character has no challenge in this game. You will plow through everything. Also a Paul rune. This is the Chaos Sanctuary, and this build might actually be better at the Chaos Sanctuary than a Hammerdin. I don't know total endgame GG gear and stuff, because I don't really do that a lot. But I honestly don't know which will be better, like a fully optimized FohDin or a fully optimized Hammerdim. It will be really close, I think. Oh, also Diablo Hell dies. In 3, 2, 1, bye. And then it's time to just farm some levels, because I wanted to play more of this character. I was just having so much fun. I was like, I'm gonna grind more. So I find the Geats. And then I head towards the Ancients, which is the hardest part of this game for this character for sure. And you can see why. I'm barely dealing any damage, but my mercenary is also just not dying, so grab some pots. And as you can tell, this just takes forever, but they will go down. But it takes forever. And there they go. Almost find an Arachnids. So all 5 of Bale's waves are demons or beasts. Or demons or undead. So they die very easily. This is an excellent Bale runner. Speaking of Bale. There he goes. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with this character. And this is my gear, by the way. But I kind of want to play more. And I have a horse. I don't think I'm going to get a more perfect setup for the UBERS. So let's fucking go for it. We're going to do UBERS on this one. After I'm showing off my stats and stuff. So this is for the main game, at least. This is what I used. I'm Guardian for sure now. Level 80, finish the game. This is with massive farming. Like, you can beat the game with this character on like level 70, 72 very easily. Find a second serpent skin armor. This one's better than the first. So 32 Viper Magi. Then time for the key farming. Also end up finding a phase blade, which is a lightsaber. And this is the first weapon I considered using on the UBERS, because you have lightning absorb, which is really good. Find a ring as well. It's a Raven Frost, so there's a second source of canopy frozen, and the dexterity really helps with a max block. Cold absorb also really welcome for UBERS. There's some more keys. Then it's time for the summoner, who just dies and gives me keys. Like, the summoner is so ridiculously easy for keys. But that balances out when we head to Nidalee, don't worry. So that's 3 summoner keys, 6 keys total. And from here on out, we kind of just delay on going towards Nidalee because I'm terrified of him. I also find these boots, these are absolutely bonkers. And when you think you're going down towards Nidalee, I also find some matriarchal javelins, which are thunderstrokes. So at this point I found almost a complete set of necromancer gear, complete set of Amazon gear. I found most of Uber gear for a paladin, and the drops are kind of insane on this character. Also that damage, what the actual fuck. So Nidalee is really dangerous, as you can see by my life orb here. That's one hit, 800 damage. And that's without amp damage or anything. So I'm terrified, and I decide to go towards the Chaos Sanctuary to farm. Where I end up finding an Etanex, because at this point I'm like, okay, I'm finding everything I could ever need. Let's find the Grief base, I might need it. And I end up finding a demon crossbow as well. And this is, for me, is really cool, because this is one of my final grailers. I actually found a grailer on this one. So I have like 7 or 8 left at this point, and one of them is Stormlash. But it's a Horizons Tornado, so that's too bad. But it's still cool finding a unique Scorch. And I do need to be careful. I'm kind of like AFKing in my mind here, and it's like, oh, whoops, casually take 1100 damage, whoopsie poops. And this is the coolest find in the run to me. I love this find. It's a Ruby Jewel of Freedom. A 40-15 perfect Ruby Jewel of Freedom. Look, these kind of drops are the reason I come back. Like, that makes me very, very happy. And here's a Flame Bellow. Figured I'd show it. Then I find some skillers as well. Bow and crossbow skiller. I end up finding another Lem rune, an elemental skiller. Like, I'm barely putting this up on the screen at this point. I'm doing this farming because I just got a terrorized Durance and a terrorized Cathedral. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Happy Hour, because terrorized Catacombs is just Happy Hour in this game. And this is the second weapon I considered using for UBERS. It has Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, Open Wounds, Prevent Monster Heal. And I find the 14 resist all charm. I find this really cool inside base. I love giant treasures. I know they're not the greatest or the best or anything, but I just love them. They're so cool. So I got another Durance terrorized, where I end up finding some Vampire Bone gloves, which are the perfect gloves. Vampire Bone gloves are Dracul's grab, so they have life tap trigger, which means I get to use life tap. Otherwise I would have needed to shop for a wand. I also find some Demonite sash, which is a string of ears, which is the belt I'm gonna use. I also casually find an Gnome rune. If you're ever thinking like, do I need to open boxes in Diablo 2? Please do, because you'll find runes. And this is just a compilation of me almost dying to Nilatak. And finding keys as well. But yeah, Nilatak, even with being nerfed significantly, is still very much the hardest fight of the run. It's so bad. This fight is so hard. I ended up doing Nilatak for like 7 or 8 hours before I got my keys. And that's just because the runs take forever. Just look at this clear speed. Like, I need to do this way because look at my life total. I can't rush this. I will die. And remember that grief base I found? Well, there's the low room. So yeah, I found the low room. I had my grief base before I had my key set. So that was nice. That was really nice, just having a grief before you have 3 keys. Oh, a casual shadow plate as well. That's an Alder's armor. And after that I get Cathedral Terror Zone again. So that's the happy hour for the Gore Riders. And there's a Tal Rush's armor. Yeah, I don't know what was going on in this run, but I was loving it. I noped right the fuck out of that door. Then Andariel dropped me an amulet, and at this point you know what this is. It's Samara's. 24% is a bit low, but I'll be okay. End up finding a +5 shockwave helm as well. I don't know if it's any good, but I thought it was really cool. And there we have another Terror Zone where I end up finding a second Alder armor. And nothing. Oh wait, there's a Mavina armor over there. I'll take it. And then I finally head into Nilatak for the final key. And this is me just being like, okay, the rune word. I've made like 10 or 12 griefs at this point. I'm still like Googling the rune word, looking on Diablo fandom, like, okay, this is the rune word, these are the correct runes. Here we go, at tier low mal raw. And before people say this, I know a faceblade is better. I have not found a single 5-socket faceblade since the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. I have a grief at this point, I have 4 low runes. I have not found a single 5-socket faceblade. It's insane. On Pluggy, it took me almost 2.5 years to find one as well. I don't know why, I just do not find them. Meanwhile, this is on the screen, is me respecking for the UBERS. Fist of Heaven is really cool and all. It won't kill the UBERS, it just won't. So we're going for a Smiter. It's just the best Uber build. Just some points in Salvation, Fanaticism, Smite, the rest in the resist skills. So this is my build for the UBERS. And I'm going to be very happy to inform you that I actually invested in Vitality this time. I never found an Ist rune, which is a shame because then I could have made the bow rune with as well. But I just never found one. So this is my gear for the UBERS. And I kind of wanted to make like a budget UBERS video. But then I found everything I could ever want and was like, yeah, that's okay too. I can live with that. And I'm using a Spirit and a +2 faceplate on the other side to buff the Holy Shield. That's the only reason I have the buff stuff. And here we go, time for UBERS. And I may or may not just completely forget to trigger my treachery on the Matron's Den. And we just head in and I'm expecting my mercenary to die. Which he does, so I'm just gonna go and clear out. I know people are always like teleporting through, running through and stuff. I have time, I don't want to die. I will clear out every single monster if I have to. But luckily I don't have to because she's around the first literal corner. So I'm just making my way through and there is Lilith. And I'm just gonna beat her down a bunch. One thing that you saw me do, by the way, was just opening one portal. That way, if I need to bail on the level, I can just refarm one key set instead of 3. So it's a safety thing that I'm only opening one at a time. And there's Diablo's horn. And after that, I'm running around the Forgotten Sands looking for Duriel. Yeah, I end up getting stuck and exiting via a town portal. Then it turns out Duriel was right at the waypoint. But Duriel himself is kind of pretty easy with this build, like there's nothing stopping me. It's a bit slow because of his Holy Freeze aura, but it's fine. Duriel and Isual are definitely the easy part of doing UBERS with a smiter. So there goes Duriel, there's Bale's Eye, and here we have Isual. And like I mentioned before, I have no trouble full clearing this area, so I just went one monster at a time through this. And as long as life tap triggers, I'm gonna be fine. So that's Mephisto's brain. Me opening the portal. This time I am triggering my treachery for my Fade aura. And there we go, Uber Tristram. It's been years since I've done this. So I started off walking around being very surprised there's a bunch of summons because those don't work on Pluggy and I didn't realize they would be there. So that was a surprise. And I figured, okay, I'll clear them out, but they infinitely respawn, so that doesn't really work either. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? Well, I can lure them out one by one, because I'm definitely not fighting Diablo and Mephisto at the same time. That's not happening. They will murder the absolute living shit out of me. So I try to make a small area that's clear. By kind of just pushing the skeletons away and stuff, and try to lure one of the bosses towards me. But I end up getting kind of overwhelmed here as well. But as long as life tap is triggering, I am staying alive, so that's okay with me. And I end up finding Bale who follows me. And that's fine as well, that at least makes sure that I get rid of Bale. I just decided to include the entire fight. I figured the first time doing UBERS on the channel, might as well just include all of it. And here I have a spot where not too much is attacking me, so I decide to go for it, attack Bale. And at this point I'm just left clicking on the attack, while clicking my button for the PlayStation. And hoping life tap triggers enough that I won't die. And that's my entire plan, run in, hope life tap triggers and don't die. That's it. I'm a masterful schemer, for sure. I know it's hard to see me, but I'm faded, so I'm kind of transparent. And I have to repair my weapon a lot. And for Mephisto I end up using the Black Horn's face that I found for the lightning absorb. So there's Mephisto with the conviction aura. You need 300 lightning resist with Mephisto. And I'm like trying to get him into a nice spot, or at least get the physical immune stuff away. And things just get worse and worse and worse at this point. You can really tell that I'm not used to doing the UBERS with the spawns in as well, because this is such a mess. But here I get my shot towards Mephisto and I just decide to go for it. I'm like, come hell or high water, I will go for it. This is very close. And you can see my life total just yo-yoing up and down. And I'm like, I'm stuck, I can't leave, so I hope I have enough full rejuves, and I end up having them. So my Black Horn's face definitely saved my life there. At this point I'm just kind of trying to get Diablo out of the house because that's a horrible place to fight him. I don't know how he would walk through that door and get in there, but he did, so he can get out as well. So Diablo 2 is very much a game about map control and screen control, just like a fighting game. And the UBERS getting spawns makes it so hard to control the map. And here we have it, my moment at Diablo. I saw a shot, I figured I'd go for it. The reason you're using smite is because it can't get blocked by attack rating or stuff, so you're just always hitting, which is really good. And almost down, almost. There he goes, there it is, the large charm where my inventory is too full. But I end up picking it up, and these are my skills that I used. Just showing it off one more time. These are my final stats. This is my standard of heroes, and here we have it. The torch. What will it be? It is a 1913 sorcerer's torch. So that's a good find for sure. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.